Every year you wait to build wealth, you're handing over 14 years of your life. That's not a metaphor. That's the math. Most guys in their late 20s and early 30s have no idea that clock is already running against them. A 29-year-old making $62,000 thinks financial freedom is 38 years away. It isn't. It's 24. Same person, same job, same starting point. 3 decisions. This video shows you exactly what those 3 decisions are and how to make the first one today. Most people think financial freedom is a distant thing, something that requires decades of perfect decisions, no mistakes, and a salary they don't have yet. That assumption is wrong, and I'm going to prove it with numbers. Real projections, based on where most men in their late 20s and early 30s actually are right now, that show how 3 specific changes can cut that timeline almost in half. You don't need a raise. You don't need a windfall. You don't need to have started earlier. You need to see the math clearly. Because once you do, the distance between where you are and where you want to be stops looking like a lifetime. It starts looking like a decision. Here's why most people overestimate how long this takes. It's not that they're bad at math. It's that they're doing the math on the wrong version of themselves. They picture the baseline, same income, same spending, same monthly contribution, no side income, no debt eliminated, no leaks plugged. Just the current trajectory extended forward for decades. And that version, yeah, it takes forever. But that's the default, not the only option. Think of it like estimating a road trip without accounting for the highway. You calculate the whole thing on surface streets. Every light, every stop sign, every 25-mile-per-hour zone. The destination looks impossibly far. But the moment you find the highway, the math changes completely. Same starting point, same destination, dramatically different arrival time. The 3 variables in this video are your highway. They don't change where you're going. They change how fast you get there. Here's the baseline. A 29-year-old with $10,000 already invested, earning $62,000 a year. Expenses at $52,000. Freedom number of $1.3 million. That's 25 times his annual expenses. Current investment contribution of $500 a month. At that rate, $500 a month, 7% return. Starting with $10,000, he reaches $1.3 million in approximately 38 years. He'd be 67. That's the default timeline. Now watch what happens when we start finding the highway. Variable 1. And this one moves the timeline faster than most people expect. He's carrying $8,000 in credit card debt at 22% interest. That debt costs him roughly $1,760 a year, about $147 a month, just in interest. Money that goes straight to the bank and builds nothing. He redirects $400 a month toward the debt, on top of minimum payments. At that pace, the $8,000 is gone in about 16 months. From that point forward, that $400 is freed up. He adds it directly to his investments. Now he's investing $900 a month instead of $500. Think of it like fixing a slow leak in your roof. Every month you wait, the damage compounds. Warped wood, mold, structural problems that cost more to fix later. The moment you fix it, the house stops deteriorating and starts holding value again. High-interest debt is that leak. Closing it doesn't just stop the bleeding. It redirects resources toward building. Updated math. Same 29-year-old. Same $10,000 starting balance. After 16 months of debt payoff, he's investing $900 a month for the remaining years. New timeline to $1.3 million. Approximately 32 years. He'd be 61 instead of 67. 1 variable. 6 years off the timeline. Variable 2. This one surprises people the most because it doesn't require earning more. It requires noticing more. A one-time audit finds $400 a month in spending that isn't serving him. Forgotten subscriptions. Dining patterns that crept up. Impulse purchases that felt small individually but added up. He plugs $300 of that into investments and keeps $100 as a buffer. Now, instead of $900 a month invested, he's at $1,200. Think of it like a Madden roster move. You didn't draft a new player. You didn't sign a free agent. You moved someone off the practice squad who was already on the team, someone with real value who wasn't being used. The talent was always there. You just activated it. That's exactly what redirecting spending leaks does. The money was already yours. It was just sitting in the wrong column. Updated math. After the debt payoff period, now investing $1,200 a month. New timeline to $1.3 million. Approximately 28 years. He'd be 57 instead of 61. 2 variables. 9 years off the original timeline. And we still have one more. Variable 3. The one with no ceiling. The first 2 variables worked with money he already had, redirecting it more efficiently. This one creates money that didn't exist before. And it's the variable that compresses the timeline the most. He picks up a side income, freelancing, gig work, selling what he has. Within 3 months, he's generating an extra $700 a month. He takes $500 of that and puts it directly into investments. Now, instead of $1,200 a month, he's at $1,700. Think of it like a second engine firing up on a plane that's been running on one. The plane was already flying, already making progress. But the moment that second engine kicks in, the altitude changes, the speed changes, the range changes. You're not just moving faster. You can go places the single engine couldn't reach. Updated math. After the debt payoff period, now investing $1,700 a month. New timeline to $1.3 million. Approximately 24 years. He'd be 53 instead of 67. 3 variables. 14 years off the original timeline. Same person. Same starting point. 3 decisions, and the finish line moved from 67 to 53. Now let's run the full picture. All 3 variables at the same time on the same person. Because here's what most people miss. The variables don't just add up. They multiply each other. Eliminating debt frees up money to invest. Plugging spending leaks adds more. Side income stacks on top of all of it. And every extra dollar that goes in earlier compounds for longer. The effect isn't linear. It accelerates. Same 29-year-old. $10,000 already invested. $62,000 salary. $52,000 in expenses. Freedom number of $1.3 million. Month 1 through 16. He attacks the credit card debt with $400 extra per month while still investing $500. Debt gone in 16 months. From month 17 forward, he redirects the $400 from debt payoff, plugs $300 from spending leaks, and adds $500 from spending leaks, and adds $500 from side income. Total monthly investment, $1,700. Think of it like 3 tributaries feeding into the same river. Each one alone moves water. But when all 3 converge, the current becomes something different. Stronger, faster, capable of carving through terrain that none of them could move alone. Full timeline to $1.3 million. Approximately 24 years. He reaches his freedom number at 53. He started at 29 thinking it would take until 67. 3 decisions later, it's 53. Not 30 or 40 years away. Closer than the length of a 30-year mortgage. Close enough that every year he waits now costs him real time on the other end. Here's what separates the people who get there from the people who stay stuck on the numbers. Knowing the math isn't the move. Moving is the move. Most people will watch a video like this, feel genuinely motivated for about 48 hours, and then go back to exactly what they were doing before. Not because they're lazy, because motivation fades and systems don't exist yet. The feeling passes, the behavior doesn't change. 6 months later, they're watching another video asking the same question. The people who actually close the gap don't start with a perfect plan. They start with one action this week. Before the feeling fades, think of it like the first rep of a workout you've been putting off for months. The hardest part isn't the rep, it's walking into the gym. Once you're there, the momentum builds on its own. The second rep is easier than the first. The third easier than the second. Getting started is the entire battle. Pick one variable, just one. Run the spending audit tonight. Open your last 3 months of statements and find the number that surprises you. Or log into your 401k and check your contribution rate against your employer match. Or open Upwork and create a free profile. One action. This week. Not a plan, a move. You came into this video thinking financial freedom was 30 or 40 years away. The math says different. Same person, same job, same starting point. 3 decisions, and the timeline drops from 67 to 53. 14 years closer. Not because anything lucky happened, because the variables changed. Drop a comment and tell me, Which of the three variables are you starting with this week? Debt elimination, spending audit, or building a side income? Name the actual move. Logging into Fidelity, opening DoorDash, pulling up 3 months of bank statements. Say it out loud in the comments. Because the moment you say it, it becomes real. Go make your money work. I'll see you in the next one.